Hi, welcome to TalentEgg Talks, live on Facebook and Instagram. We are here in the downtown offices of TalentEgg, and I'm really delighted to welcome you all. We've got some very special guests today. Joining me today is Devon Bekker and Anthony Pucci. They are Global Trainees at Vale. And I want to welcome you both.
Thank you.
And just a little background about our guest today. Devon graduated from a dual master's in Ivy Business School and also received a bachelor's degree in green process engineering. Devon is now a global trainee for the finance division in Vale's Toronto office. Welcome, Devon.
Thank you.
And Anthony is a recent grad from the University of Western Ontario with a bachelor degree of engineering science in chemical engineering. Anthony currently works as a global trainee in the integrated planning department at Vale's Toronto office. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. If you've just joined us, please feel free to ask any live questions in the comments section below. We're going to try and get to as many questions as we possibly can in our half hour today. So I wanted to start by getting a sense from you, recent graduates, a little bit more about Vale as an organization. Can you tell us a little bit about the business and what it is that attracted you to the company?
Sure. Thanks for having us just to start off. But Vale is a multinational mining company. We're the #1 iron ore producer in the world. And we both work out of the Toronto office, which is the headquarters for the base metals division. So we are one of the largest players in the nickel production, copper, and ethically sourced cobalt as well.
Wonderful. And so what is it about the Global Trainee program that actually attracted you?
For me, so when I graduated, I was looking for a program that would give me a wide range of experiences, the rotations, which is kind of what we have, and with the global company, the opportunity to maybe travel abroad, experience people, different cultures, work with people from around the world. That's what I was looking for, and this program was a perfect fit. Yeah, for me it was all of those things, as well as the opportunity to actually have a meaningful impact on the company and the business. And I saw that Vale had a real interest in transforming kind of its image and the image of the industry, because it has kind of been misunderstood in the past. And I saw that as a great opportunity to take part and really make a difference. Maybe you could just describe that a little bit more. What kind of changes are we talking about? Yeah, sure. So I think that in the past the industry has had kind of a negative light towards it, and Vale is really trying to drive meaningful change to that. So there's a huge push towards sustainability, social impact, and really making sure that the economic impact from the mining and transforming those natural resources is really felt throughout the country and the region in which it's occurring.
And that was your attraction point as well?
Yeah, it was one of them for sure, definitely.
We know that young people who are starting their careers are really quite engaged by the idea of having social impact and having a career with more than just the bottom line, but having greater impact on society at large. And so in terms of how was it that you learned about this aspect of working at Vale?
Yeah, I can take that one. For me, so first when I heard about the program, I didn't know much about the company, so I explored the website a little bit as you normally would, and it's painted all across the website. They really promote sustainability, safety, being ethical. And then after joining the company, I realized this wasn't just showing on the website to attract people. They actually preach and breathe this every single day. And that was really, really refreshing and rewarding because, like I said, sometimes you may not feel that. They may advertise that, but then once you get in, it's not like that, but they really do believe that, and they preach that.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just going to say, it was the exact same. I was a little hesitant to believe it because a lot of companies do have these CSR initiatives that are relatively lackluster, but while we did have the chance to go to Brazil and on the Vale experience, that's part of the training program, we were given the opportunity to work and see some of the community development and community support initiatives that Vale has in the region, and that really cemented it for me.
So actually, let's focus on the Global Trainee program itself. There's our first live question from Instagram, and the question is, what makes the Global Trainee program different?
For me, it was the global aspect of it. A lot of big companies, they have these development programs for new grads where you can come in, you do rotations in a bunch of different areas, and at the end they place you in a role. But this one, there's the global aspect of it. And someone who did multiple international experiences during university, this was something I was looking for, and it really resonated with me. So like Devon said, we got to go on the Vale experience, which was a 3-week trip to Brazil to see our operations there, see how the company operates. And that alone has made the program worth it for me, to be honest. It was extremely rewarding to get that exposure, meet executives, directors, other managers, see how we do things there. And then also they advertised the opportunity to visit sites, to travel around the world to visit our operations, because we are a global multinational company. And again, this wasn't just something to advertise, it's something that's very possible for all the trainees.
And what I understand is that you come from quite diverse backgrounds. There's no sort of one perfect global trainee. Can you talk about the qualifications for the program?
Sure. So there isn't any specific degree requirements or school requirements or anything like that. Actually, in the application process, the resume isn't even part of the initial application. It's much more of a cultural fit that we're looking for. But I think in terms of qualifications, across the trainees, we had people from economics backgrounds, accounting, there was a lawyer trainee, and in Brazil they were more focused on their specific roles, but engineers as well. It was across all disciplines.
So how long is the trainee program?
The program is 12 months. 12 months, and you'll have multiple rotations scheduled in the program, as well as the 3-week trip to Brazil called the Vale Experience.
And what was the hiring process like? You talked a little bit about how the CV was not the top of the list in terms of priorities in that process. What was it like actually going through that process, which is really quite unique?
Yeah, I think it's separate and very different from the normal graduate program and trainee kind of hiring process, because you do have that no resume to start, and then it's a online personal fit test with the values of Vale, and to see if you're kind of fitting the qualifications that we look for in an applicant. And then there's a third step, which is a Skype group interview. So you're actually working with some of your potential competitors to have a discussion about the direction of Vale and where they want to go. And then finally there's an assessment day in Toronto. So the whole process takes about 4 months. I believe the decisions will be sometime in December, and the start date would be May of 2020.
Wow, so
I'd like to add one part. They, what was cool about this process is they had a theme to it. So it was Industry 4.0, or digital mining. And this was really cool. This was a novel concept for me to have this theme. So once you got to the group interview stage and the final interview stage, you had to do research on what Vale was doing, what digital technology was applying in it today, what the industry is doing, what are future technologies, that sort of thing. So that was really interesting to learn about, and made the experience rewarding on its own, regardless of being accepted into the program or not.
So it's a process where you get to know the people as much as they get to know you, in terms of making that right fit.
Yeah, as well as the direction of the industry. It kind of gives you a forced primer on where the company's trying to go.
Yeah, that's really interesting. We have another live question from Facebook. Can you talk about what your day-to-day experience is like as a global trainee? It sounds like there's a lot of variety, but also can you walk us through your normal day?
Sure. Day to day, you're like another employee, but what makes you special is the support you get, the soft skill development, and the planned trips. Like, for example, we're going to Sudbury next week. All the trainees from Canada, we're meeting there for training, go to a conference, visit our sites. It's these types of opportunities what separate a trainee from normal employees. But day-to-day stuff, I'm just another member of the team. We don't get special treatment outside of that, but we do, like I said, have access to these special soft skill developments and these trips. Yeah,
I think it's meeting with your team in the morning, going to your daily update meeting, working on some projects. For me, it's working on financial models mostly, working on some PowerPoint slides. But then interspersed in that is we have a continuous learning program throughout the year of the trainee program. So you're constantly working on kind of side projects with some of the trainees that you've met in the Vale experience in Brazil. So I'm currently working with one of the trainees from Brazil, one of them in Mozambique, and one of the guys in Sudbury. just on some global dialogue to discuss our projects. What are the challenges we're facing? What are they facing? How would we combat them? And kind of supporting each other in that. So I think that's one of the other things that really makes it interesting.
So you have like global collaboration in some of the work you're doing. How exciting.
Yeah, we have a platform, all the trainees, where we collaborate all the time. There's weekly activities, projects, knowledge sharing. It's really special. Yeah.
So actually a live question came in from Facebook talking about the training. We've talked about the soft skills, excuse me, but also is there training that's sort of discipline specific? For example, you would be focusing on something that was more project related in the finance area as opposed to perhaps in your engineering expertise. Planning. And so there's the broader, but then there's more sort of discipline specific. Is that how it works?
So the discipline specific you would get within your area, it wouldn't come from the trainee program. The trainee, because there's so many trainees and all with diverse areas and diverse backgrounds, it's hard to have discipline focus for each single one. So that discipline focused training you would get in your area.
And I think it's also something that Vale just offers to all its employees is LinkedIn Learning, or Linda. It was previously Linda. So for me, I've actually been just like working through some accounting refreshers because I realized I wasn't quite where I should be on my accounting skills. But it's that knowledge sharing and education platform that all Vale employees have that really helps you get kind of that edge in your discipline specific area.
And one of the questions that was actually asked in advance of this was a question around what tips you would have for potential applicants. You've gone through the process. What kind of advice would you give people who are interested in learning more about this program and also in applying?
Sure. I would say, as with many of the trainee programs, it's don't try and be something that you're not, for sure. You have to come in and just be your honest self and show why you want to be there and what value you're going to add, because we at Vale are looking for a specific type of people, but it's really being yourself throughout the program and being able to see your own faults, but also being able to demonstrate how you're tackling them and how you're going to grow over the program, because they're investing in the future. Yeah,
I agree. I recommend, seeing what the program is asking for. Go on the website, company website, check out our values, see everything Vale is about, and see if it aligns with you. Like Devon said, really just be yourself. And even if you don't have an interest in mining or don't know anything about mining, I would recommend applying, because the company and the program especially is great for developing young people.
Yeah, I would also just add, I didn't know what Vale was before the program, and I said the name wrong in the first time I talked to someone from the company. So it doesn't discount you.
Okay, well, that's good to know. It's very encouraging. The other aspect of it, I guess, is too, you've mentioned that you're looking for type of people that do well within the Vale organization. Could you describe some of the qualities of that kind of person?
Yeah, sure. They're looking for people who are innovative. They're willing to challenge the status quo, maybe push the boundaries a bit. Not afraid to ask questions. They really want young people with new perspectives to come in and kind of change the way we're thinking now, because we need to improve. And they really want to mold us young talent from the start to be leaders in the future. So, like I said, innovative, challenge the status quo, be really good at collaborating with other people from different cultures, different backgrounds. Those are the skills they're looking for.
Yeah, I would say Anthony said it perfectly.
Okay, great. There's another live question.
Sure.
It kind of leads from your answer. Can you describe some of the skills that you picked up as part of the Global Trainee program?
Sure. One big one is I learned pretty quickly while working at Vale is they value someone who takes ownership of their development. They really want people to take initiative. At first, joining a big new company, first job out of school, a little nervous. I don't want to step on people's toes, but I learned, like I said, fairly quickly that they want you to go out there and chase things, ask for opportunities, ask questions, ask to get invited to certain meetings so you can learn more. And once they see that, they really value that, and they'll support you through everything. And they have been, honestly.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest one, for sure. I think that's the strongest learning that I've had. But for a second one, it's just being able to interact with other cultures and manage those kind of different expectations in work. I did have some classes for it in undergrad and master's program, but nothing prepared me for really seeing how you interact, especially under pressure. And I think learning to manage those expectations and different cultures
it's totally different in the real world.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
But also exciting.
Great, yeah.
I imagine somebody who has a sense of adventure and kind of a broader interest in society at large and a global environment for work and industry would be somebody who would kind of appreciate this opportunity.
Definitely.
And so I wonder if you could talk a little bit about your transition from school to work. What did you find most challenging, and how did Vale help you with that experience of making that school to work transition?
Sure. So I think for me, I did an undergrad and then also a master's program, so I was very much ready to be done with school at the end, as I know some people will be. But for me, the biggest challenge was that change from, okay, here are your deadlines, here are your expectations, this will be how you're graded, to, okay, here's a project, I'm super busy, everybody's super busy, figure it out and do good. And I think Vale was really great in supporting that. We have somebody, Chelsea Hill, who is the trainee coordinator, hey Chelsea, who is super supportive and is always checking in to make sure that, hey, like, are you getting enough support? How are your managers doing? But then also within the Vale culture, you can go directly to your manager, and they'll always make time, whether it be during the day or outside of normal hours, to have that conversation and make sure you are comfortable with where you are.
Yeah, and for me, between third and fourth year, I did a 16-month internship. So I was working full-time, not at school, and that helped a lot with the transition. Having an understanding of how things work in the real world, let's call it, in the working world, really helped. But like Devon said, the support was really there. I know most people, when they start a new job at first time, they may be a little nervous, but the support was there the whole time. Not afraid, as long as you're not afraid to ask questions, be a little vulnerable at first, they'll guide you and they'll point you in the right direction, and then the rest is up to you.
Yeah. So it became less of a daunting thing when you actually got there and you saw the support that was available. What, if you could describe it, could you tell me what your favorite thing was or is working in the Global Trainee program at Vale?
Go ahead.
This one, we've mentioned already, was the Vale experience, the 3-week trip to Brazil. All the trainees, 39 of us around the world, Canada, Brazil, Mozambique. We got together, visited all of our operations, offices, sites. It was amazing just to finally meet the trainees we were collaborating with on a weekly basis, and see the size of Vale in Brazil and everything they do, the social projects that Devon mentioned, how they give back, the sustainable efforts they're doing. And it was incredible to meet managers and directors, and they were really empowering and engaging us trainees to say, you guys are the future, you guys are going to change the company, so let's go, let's do it, right? It was amazing, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, I think that's, Anthony said it perfectly. It's especially because a lot of the managers and high-level directors and C-level people were trainees at one point, and they're very passionate about empowering you and having those discussions. So yeah, I think being able to see the sites, understand Vale's impact on Brazil as a whole, and then we are all taking Vale was incredible.
Yeah.
Has all this global experience, has it changed your views of working in Canada? Is the connections of Canadian industry to a global business culture? Has it changed your view?
Yeah. One thing it changed my view on was the different work cultures, especially going there and seeing the work culture in Brazil, and then when you come back, you kind of make the comparison, and wow, like really, it is much different. And there's a lot of Brazilians that work in our office, and even they bring that culture with them, obviously. So it's cool. We kind of have a mixed culture in the office, and also working with the people from Mozambique, their work culture, again, it's totally different. So drawing the comparison, seeing what we can take from them, apply here, and then also share with them some good practices we have, that was really helpful.
Yeah, I think it's really also being able to see Canada and how really small we are on a global scale, and yeah, seeing all of the different cultures and how work is done and how decision making and can be done, and then also trying to internalize those and build something that's a better combination of everything, I think is really good and has been powerful.
So can we talk about, I mean, you've developed relationships with people around the world.
Mm-hmm.
How has that impacted your idea of your career and the value that a company like Vale can bring?
For me, I'd always wanted to get some international experience early on in my career, and after going this experience and joining the company, it's just accelerated that even more. I really want to get out there, see the world, work somewhere in a different place, and yeah, I'm itching for it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I would say it's something that drove my decision to join Vale as well. I did an exchange semester in Paris. I worked in Nicaragua before this, so it was fundamental to my decision to join Vale. And yeah, I can't wait for the next opportunity and the chance to go abroad and contribute to Vale wherever they are.
So there's actually a question that just came in on Instagram, and it's related to the discussion we had about culture and how culture is very different in different countries. But this is specifically about what is the office culture like at Vale in your day-to-day experience? So
our office in Toronto, it's all open concept, even for directors, the CEO, it's all open. So that fuels this an environment for open dialogue. So you can approach anyone. I really feel like I can approach anyone in the office, have a conversation with them about anything. They'll be very receptive to me, and that's the biggest thing. Everyone's very open and supportive of each other. Sharing ideas happens really easy.
Yeah, I think just to build on that, we have a giant wall of all of our KPIs, and it's constantly rotating. And I thought that was kind of weird at the start when I walked in. I said, wow, that's kind of a lot of pressure at all times. But what it's really driven is you can walk up to any group and say, hey, what's going on? Like, what are the challenges you're facing? Like, why is it how it is? And it's not like a threat or an aggressive kind of question. It's more to drive that kind of open dialogue. And I think that, along with the opportunity to always keep educating yourself, through the LinkedIn learning and feedback processes that we have, is really how Vale's demonstrated how it really cares about us and all of the employees in the office. So it's been fantastic. So
a more of a collaborative sort of environment.
Definitely. And another thing is, I also find a lot of people have a genuine interest in your life outside of work, so your personal life and supporting your personal development as well. It's not all about work. Also asking how you're doing outside of work, if there's any way they can offer advice and help, and it's been a benefit for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Another question from Instagram. Were there any events or chances to network with senior leadership that you can describe or that you appreciated?
Yeah, for sure. So in the assessment day, from day one there, we had the director of operations, the director of integrated business planning, Carlos.
Yep.
Yeah, so we had people there talking to all of the trainees, kind of getting to know them, even the potential trainees. And then as part of the Vale experience, we met with the CEO, the CFO, the COO, basically everybody.
All the executives.
Yeah, and then afterwards we had a chance to give feedback on the program and then take our findings and present it to the entire executive board. So there is a lot of time to have those discussions, and they all know your name and are willing to have the conversation if you catch them in the elevator or anytime.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Another question from Facebook. Did you have any mentorship opportunities or mentor-like opportunities? Actually, a part of the program is there's a mentor for all the Canadian trainees. So he was a former trainee as well. And I think it's once a quarter or every couple months, we schedule a mentor session. We all get on a call, have a meeting, and we talk about things that are going on, some new issues where we need help. And you don't have to wait for that meeting to reach out to this mentor. You can reach out to them anytime. They've expressed that the communication line between us is open at all times, and I'm willing to support you guys.
And then I think in terms of more specific for, there's the segments within our trainee program. They focus on leadership, collaboration, innovation, and technology. And within each of those blocks throughout the program, you have some kind of external mentor or leader come in and do some kind of online education for you. So then that's also an opportunity to get kind of mentoring on how your project's going and your personal development. So I think there's multiple opportunities.
Yeah, there is.
So you mentioned about the support for your personal life. Mm-hmm. can you talk about, or just elaborate a little bit more about how working as a global trainee, this is from Instagram, impacts with regards to your work-life balance?
How it impacts? Well, I guess having the mentorship and the support lines available at all times has helped me with this, because there's been times where I've reached out to my mentor with how do I do this work-life balance? I have these demanding projects coming up with deadlines, and I find I'm losing time in my personal life. How do I find this balance? And then we have that conversation, and we regularly speak about it, and that helped. I won't go into the details, but just know the support's there, and if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're struggling with your work-life balance, just know the support's there. Yeah,
I think it's the attitude of 360-degree conversation and mentorship is that it's work. So there's a lot of work. Yeah. But if you feel like you're falling behind or you're starting to get stuck, you can always reach out to people and say, hey, okay, what am I doing wrong? How do I accelerate this and be more effective so that you can still have that work-life balance? Because there's not an expectation to work all night every night. It's get the work done, and let's do it efficiently so everybody can go home and have that balance.
Great. There's a question that somebody asked. Now, you mentioned the CV isn't the priority here in terms of figuring out a good fit, right. But eventually they're going to look at your CV, and it's asking, what should I include in my resume that could help me stand out as a potentially a good fit at Vale?
So I guess line back with the qualities we mentioned about what they're looking for in a trainee. Show how you've displayed innovation, show how you've challenged the status quo, how you've taken initiative of your own development. If you have experiences that directly align with this, definitely include those and make those stand out. And talk about those in an interview, and that's really what they're looking for, like I said, and not for someone with all the technical background. They're looking for a personality type.
Yeah, I think he said it completely. And then also, we are an industrial company, so it's safety first, safety above all. And I think if you can demonstrate, along with all of those values that Anthony said, that you put safety first, and that is a priority for you, safety in the environment and people, that's really something that everybody's looking for.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're just near the last few minutes of our TalentEgg talk. It's been really terrific. Yeah. One last question is, obviously somebody's thinking about applying because they're asking a question from Facebook. What are some typical interview questions?
I think the conversation, the Skype group interview is really interesting because it is more of have a discussion, and we're going to monitor it and see how you can interact on a team, which I thought was interesting. But outside of that, it's your classic behavioral. Tell me about a time when, strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, very, very standard status quo interview.
Yeah, like you said, and like we mentioned before, they're looking for answers that align with the character profile they're looking for, as well as if they align with the company values of safety, people first, the environment first.
And I guess being authentic, being yourself.
Yeah. Don't try and pretend.
Because ultimately, they got to get to know you.
Yeah.
And if you fake it, you won't have a good time when you get in, right? Yeah. And that's important.
So we're almost out of time today, but I just wanted to give you an opportunity just to add any final thoughts that you might have for our audience of students and grads who might be considering applying for the Global Trainee program.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Even if you don't know anything about mining and you're a new grad looking for a development program with exposure to a wide range of opportunities, definitely apply. Vale is a world-class company, and they'll really support your development professionally and personally.
Yeah, I would say, you don't have to know anything about mining to join. Like I said, I didn't know it before, and I absolutely love the company now. So take the opportunity, apply, take the chance, and just be yourself.
Terrific. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Devon and Anthony, you've given some great insight to potential candidates for the Global Trainee program at Vale, and appreciate your time. For all of you at home, thank you very much for submitting your questions. If you've come in partway through the broadcast, please, if you want to see the entire recording, you can see it posted on the Vale employer profile and on our Instagram account. And again, thank you so much for joining us. It was terrific to meet you and learn more about the Vale Global Trainee Program.
Thank you.
Thank you.